So there are 3 Etsy lies out there about SEO that I want to debunk right now. I want to put them to rest because they really, really are lies. And I think it's important to know what they are, but also that some of these things are not necessary and it's just a waste of time. So to help me with this, Chris Schaefer is going to do me the honors and it's going to help me. So Chris, where do you want to start? You want to start with the first lie? What is that?
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to take these in reverse, Scott, because I think they all tie into each other.
Okay.
The first one I want to talk about is keyword stuffing. Stuffing delicious. Putting a lot of keywords in something, filling your title with as many keywords as possible, not delicious. Not delicious for the Etsy SEO algorithm, not delicious for your buyers, right? What we're looking at, and when we're talking about keyword stuffing, it's the common myth that you will see where somebody is writing personalized dancing avocado coffee mug teacup, ceramic coffee tea, hot water Kool-Aid cup, right? Any of those things where you're shoving 48 variations of essentially the same thing into your title description. This is the most common advice that we see. It's the most common way we see titles presented in the Etsy ecosystem, but it doesn't just apply to titles. We see this in descriptions and we see this in alt text and images. We see this anywhere where people can tie a bunch of words together. It's gobbledygook. The reason that people think that this is helpful is because it gives them as broad of coverage as possible. After all, if Etsy's algorithm knows that I qualify for a cup and a mug and a tumbler and a ceramic thingy that holds liquid, then they're going to show me. What people don't really understand with that, Scott, is that this is not 1996. This is not the dogpile search engine or Ask Jeeves, right? Etsy's algorithm is substantially more complex than this. And they really do understand misspellings. They understand plurals. They understand synonyms. I know that's a big word, but all it means is they understand words that mean the same thing, right? So they understand that a cup is a mug, is a tumbler, right? They understand how all of these things tie together. And if you qualify for one of those, you're very likely to qualify for all of them. So rather than stuffing as many of those different ways of saying cup, tea, coffee, whatever, into that title, focus on writing a human readable. Why? Because not only will the algorithm still understand it, but humans, who are the people who actually buy the products, at least as of 2024, right? That may change, who knows? Our AI overlords might be coming. But as of right now, humans are the ones that are doing the purchasing. And if we focus on writing the titles for them and including some of the basic keywords along the way, that gets us 99% of the way there. And it helps us improve the conversions side of the algorithm, which is really what we're after. Am I missing anything, Scott? Is there any rants that you want to go on the keyword stuffing side of things? I know this is something you absolutely despise when you see it. So I'm sure you have at least a little something you want to
say. Yeah, don't do it. I think that's I want to leave you with that. Just don't do it. It's not necessary. It doesn't look good, number one. And number two, Josh Silverman basically said words out of his own mouth, do not keyword stuff. We don't want it. We don't encourage it. And it does not help you. And I can tell you right now, it's probably going to be worked into the updated algorithm that it will be rolling out. And I know he talked about AI and things that could actually maybe hurt you, because if it sees that you're just repeating and it is identified as keyword stuffing, that could be a red flag and that could hurt the listing. So I would stay away from it. And I would just say, don't do it.
And Scott, you as the wise old e-commerce grandfather may remember Amazon, like 2018, 2019, rolled out an update and said, here's how we want you to write titles.
Yep.
Why? Because they had this exact same problem. The search results looked like garbage because everybody was saying dancing avocado ceramic drinky thingy, right? And then coffee cup, mug, tumbler on top of that. And it made no sense. So they came back and they said, we will punish you if you do this. And also you can't even create a listing if you do that because you have to follow this structure. Yep. I don't see Etsy necessarily going that far because the computer learning and all of the AI has come a long way since then. But we know that Amazon cracked down on it. We know that Etsy frowns upon it. So why do it? We know their algorithm is smarter than that. It's not 1995 anymore. Let's stop pretending that it is. And Scott, that leads me into thing number 2, SEO myth, SEO lie number 2, which is that keywords are your golden ticket, right? This one for me is one of the most frustrating things, because it seems rather obvious to me that this should not be the case, and it's not the case on Etsy. And yet most of the SEO advice that we see time and time again is focus on finding the right keyword. You're not getting enough impressions. It's because you didn't put the right keyword in the right magic order. You didn't do that. It's all about the keywords. I'm not saying keywords are not important at all. I'm saying keywords are probably the least important portion of the listing, as long as you're getting within the same galaxy of the thing that you are selling, right? If you are selling a mug and you call it a mug, great. If you call it a cup, Etsy still understands that, because in the description you're saying it's made of ceramic. What is a ceramic cup? It's a mug, right? And so they can make those level connections. And so right behind that keyword stuffing, Scott, everybody says it's all about the keywords. That's why I have to do the keyword stuffing. And you and I know, we've talked about this. Etsy's new SEO update that they just rolled out to show sellers what they can do to improve their listing optimization and their visibility focuses on this. In our eyes, in the eyes of everything that we've heard from Etsy, not about the keywords, it's about conversions.
Oh yeah. All about the conversions. And I mean, we did a full live stream on this, which felt like it was just a conversion workshop in a sense, because it's that important. And I think now that we've heard it right from Etsy, that they are looking for these other things, like, why are we going to just focus on keywords? Like, keywords, yes, they are going to identify your listing for who you are trying to serve the product to, right? Who you're trying to get in front of, because they put a search in. But to me, it's really, really simple. If you have done your research and you found that you're going to be selling a personalized nurse's sweatshirt, that's probably going to be your main keyword, and you don't need to look any further. Now, are you going to put in there maybe NICU because that's another one? Yeah, maybe, but you don't have to repeat, and you don't have to go and try to find all of these hidden golden keywords. Okay. You just have to find the main ones that are driving a bulk of the traffic, use those, and then start to get conversions and start to really work on the other areas of your listing to convert higher. So that way there you show up in search. It's literally that simple. This whole nonsense of like, just go out there and find all of these, keywords that no one else is using is a waste of time, in my opinion.
Love it. It's all about conversions. And Scott, you're right. We did just have a conversion convention or a conversion conversation, right? That was a whole live stream, and I'm sure we'll link that up down below for everybody if you guys missed out on that. Lie number 3, Scott, myth number 3 that will kill your chance to get traffic. And this comes out of the importance of keywords and keyword sprinkling, is what I like to refer to, or keyword stuffing rather, is what I like to refer to as impression sprinkling. And you've heard this theory pop up time and time again. They say, hey, Etsy, much like a, one of those sprinklers or a oscillating fan on a hot day, likes to just spread those impressions all around. So if you're not getting the sales, there's just nothing you can do about it, right? You have a lot of demand still in your market. Etsy's going to put a hard impression cap on you. So once you get to 200 views a day, they're just going to stop showing your listing. One, that makes no sense, because Etsy's job is to match somebody searching for your thing with the product they are most likely to buy. And if you are that product, then you will be shown. Right? That may happen a little bit more on the ad side, but that's not the way that the organic side of this works. They don't just artificially cut off the impressions and wait for them to come back to you. What they are looking to do is match each searcher with the product they are most likely to buy. If you are seeing something weird happening with your impressions, it's not because the Etsy algorithm just blew the other direction or they stopped showing you for impressions that day. It's likely because you're not converting as well as you were before, or something else has changed in the ecosystem. So rather than just saying, there's nothing I can do about it, what can people do, Scott? Again, we're just going to go back to that conversions conversation, right? Focus on conversions. But if somebody's looking at their listing, they're saying, hey, my impressions started to drop, what would you suggest that they look at rather than blaming the whims of the Etsy sprinkler system?
Well, if you're looking at the listing itself and people are actually coming to it, that's the other thing, right? Like, people are like, well, my conversion's low, but you only had, 50 people come in. But let's say that we do have a steady flow of traffic and something dropped. The very first thing I would be looking at is, okay, what was it before? Okay. And if it went from a 2 to a 1, okay, well, then we have to look at it and go, did I get any negative reviews recently? Maybe there's something there. Did I lose my star seller badge? So I'm looking at things that could be obvious that could make someone doubt wanting to buy from me. Okay. Something along those lines. The other thing I might be looking at is okay, did someone else come on the scene that has better photos than me? Right? Maybe. Right. So I'm going to be looking at my photos to make sure that I have those all dialed in. But those would be the areas that I would be looking at as far as if my conversion dropped. If it went from a 2 to a 1, I have to look at and see like what could it be, or what is the thing that changed? And a lot of times it could be a negative review that's sitting on top. And now what we got to do is we got to work harder to try to get that either taken off, or we have to go ahead and try to bury it. And if it's going to be hard to take it off, but if you reach out to that customer and you say, hey, I noticed you left me a 3-star, you're not happy with the size, I'd be more than happy to send you one. Like, no problem. If you just would have reached out, I would have did that for you, and I'll do it for you right now. Try to make them happy. That there could change everything because you went that extra mile. So that's what I would say. And that would be the first things that I would be looking at if I had a drop in conversion.
Yeah, and that will tie in with that drop in impressions, right? It's not whimsical. It's not magical. There's always a reason for it. And it typically comes down to a conversion-based reason. So what have we learned here today, Scott? We should not be doing keyword stuffing, right? We're not starting at the top and just shoving in as many different ways in our title, tags, and descriptions of saying dancing avocado mug, cup, tumbler, whatever. We're not doing that at this point. We're focusing on creating human readable titles and descriptions. If we have some longer tail keywords that we want to include, that's a great way to do it in your tags and in the alt text. Your description and your title should be something that a human can read, understand, and make an educated decision about what your product is and if it's the right product for them or not. If that's where you're focused, that's going to help you convert. That's going to help you rank higher. Myth number 2, what are the importance of keywords? What is the importance of keywords? Kind of important as long as you're in the ballpark, right? It's not going to be the thing that makes or breaks your listing. As long as you're accurately describing the product, you pass that first step of the Etsy test. And then it comes down to when they send you traffic. How well do you convert versus your competitors? Myth number 3, it's not because you didn't find the right keywords. It's not because you need to stuff more keywords in. It's not because Etsy has some random system where they just cut you off at 200 impressions a day. If you see a change in your impressions, it's not something magical. It's something that happened in the real world. Take a look at what happened last year at the same time. Is it just fewer people are searching for those things right now? Or did a new competitor come on the scene? Or is somebody out converting you? Those are the places to look. Don't blame Etsy. Blame the listing and figure out what you can do to start to